Gay activist group that plans to protest at this weekend's LDS General Conference. As KUTV's Jay Cole reports, the group called Queer Nation is angry about a speech given by General Authority Boyd K. Packer.
Queer Nation is a local group with ties to the national organization known for its radical protests across the country. The Salt Lake chapter is angry about what it says are anti-gay messages from LDS church leaders. 3 of the group's members told KUTV they're demonstrating tomorrow against statements about gays such as this one by Elder Boyd K. Packer during last October's General Conference.
They quote scriptures to justify perverted acts between consenting adults. That same logic would justify incest or the molesting of little children of either gender. Neither the letter nor the spirit of moral law condones any such conduct.
Queer Nation members told KUTV they consider those inflammatory remarks against gays and lesbians.
For them to be making statements like that, and all of these people following them blindly, without asking questions, and then they come across with those same attitudes, that's wrong, and that comes across on me, that comes down on me.
They also claim other church leaders have made similar so-called anti-gay statements in the past, which inflicts emotional wounds on gay members of the church.
We know gay Mormons and queer Mormons that are listening to this, and they're being told that they're sick and evil people, and they're being encouraged to live a lie, and it's really evil.
LDS church officials didn't care to address the Queer Nation's accusations. Members of the Queer Nation say they have no intentions of disrupting services on Temple Square this weekend. They say they want to drive home just one message, that anti-gay violence and anti-gay messages will not be tolerated. Jay Coles, KUTV News, Salt Lake City.
Well, today the LDS Church reiterated its stand on homosexuality. In a written statement, the church says, quote, "We believe in the worth of each individual, that each is loved and valued by God. We do not condone the homosexual act, just as we do not condone any sexual relations outside of marriage. However, we do care about and love each individual." The church also says an individual with homosexual feelings can be a member in good standing and should not feel an outcast in the church. But the church says that the sexual act outside of marriage, homosexual or heterosexual, is not condoned and may lead to church discipline.
Now, Tim Ross is up next with a look at that weekend weather forecast.
And later on, Alta High softball players set their sights on another state crown.
Homosexual group staged a protest at Temple Square today. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion are both guaranteed by the Constitution. But as KUTV's Sarah Harlow reports, those freedoms clashed today in Salt Lake City.
We're fabulous, get used to us. We're here, we're queer, we're fabulous.
2 groups come together. Mormon church members gathering for their annual conference, homosexuals and lesbians, a group called Queer Nation, gathering to challenge the church.
I have a friend that was just down at BYU 2 weeks ago, and he killed himself because he was gay, because he couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with the pressure, and that's because the church teaches hatred, and the hatred's got to stop.
The demonstrators are here in part to protest what a church elder said at the Mormon Church's semi-annual conference in October.
They quote scriptures to justify perverted acts between consenting adults. That same logic would justify incest or the molesting of little children.
I was raised in the church. My parents are LDS. They know I'm gay and they're fine with it. The church is not, however. They tell us that we should change our ways and things. This is how we are, and they need to accept us as that.
God didn't send men here to fall in love and have sex with men. If he did, they would have built them differently.
God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Everyone catches what they can on videotape. For the most part, the demonstration runs smoothly.
2, 4, 6, 8. How do you know your bishop's straight?
Except when tempers flare.
You want to put lies in our faces.
2, 4, 6, don't touch me.
Lies, lies.
2, 4.
And a group of local skinheads turns up to put in its 2 cents worth.
You guys are teaching your children to be gay. What's going to happen in 20, 30 centuries from now?
In just a couple of hours, everyone has had something to say. But only those involved know if either side listened. More than a gate divides 2 groups, 2 ways of life. Sarah Harlow, KUTV News, Salt Lake City.
For the past 161 years, the LDS Church has held conferences to instruct its members, and today was no different. Faithful were told to do less for self and more for others. and warn not to conceal the truth in the name of doing good. Strong message.